We are here to present the result of the questions that were posed, commissioned by StatBase in our June 2022 Ulat ng Bayan survey. This is a regular survey that we conduct. This is the second quarter survey for this year. So this is the post-election public opinion. The survey was conducted in late June, from June 24 to 27. We had a number of 1,200 respondents randomly selected across the country. The survey's margin of error at 95% confidence level is about 1,200, plus minus 3%. I hope the slides are shown. Is it?
Yes.
So let me go and proceed first to a staple question that we asked in our survey. This is with respect to certain standards of the elections, and we try to ask respondents to compare the elections that just occurred, the 2022 elections, with the prior elections. And the question is what you find there. Batay sa mga sumusunod na pamantayan o standards sa pangkabuuan, paano nyo ikukumpara ang eleksyon ito ng Mayo 2022 sa nakaraang eleksyon ng Mayo 2016? Simulan po natin sa the first one is with regard to cheating or the presence of cheating, yung pagkakaroon ng dayaan. One can see from the first part of this particular slide that with respect to the presence of cheating, a plurality felt that there was less cheating in the 2022 election. That's 39%. Although the figure is slightly lower in the Visayas at 29% here, and slightly higher in Mindanao at 47%. But you have about 4 of 10 Filipinos saying that there was less cheating in the 2022 elections relative to the 2016 election. The other one would be in terms of same as before, but with little cheating. So in 2016, there were people who said that there was not that much cheating that happened. So 16% of the public felt that there was cheating in the 2022 election, but the level was something that is considered as little or insignificant. So as a whole, you have about majority saying that cheating was not as pervasive in the 2022 election compared to the 2016 elections. The second question would be with respect to the pace of counting for presidential, vice presidential, senatorial, the party list groups, and local elections. When asked with regard to the speed of counting of votes in the 2022 elections, 86% of the respondents felt that the speed of counting in the 2022 elections was faster than the 2016 elections. This is quite a significant number. As Paco mentioned, we have done similar surveys in the past, and these are our own surveys. In the past, we did not reach 80% in terms of saying that the count was much faster than in the previous election. So I think this is something that can be based largely on the fact that on the night of election itself, we did get a glimpse of a significant proportion of the votes, at least for the national office, that were projected in by the COMELEC to the transparency survey. With regard to the credibility of results, the last standard that we measured here, 67% of the respondents felt that the results were more credible now than the 2016 elections. 18% are saying that it's as credible as before. So if you look at this one, that's about 8 out of 10, more than 8 out of 10 Filipinos saying that the results were credible. Although the credibility of results, you have still a majority, but it is lower in the balance of Luzon. When we try to look at the data in the balance of Luzon, we see a lower figure posted in terms of the belief on the credibility of the elections, of the results of the elections coming from Region 5, which is the Bicol region. So there you have about, in the balance of Luzon, however, you have 59% still saying that the results were more credible now, about 90% saying that it's as credible as before. So on the 3 standards here of the elections, what we do establish is that the Filipinos generally feel that the cheating is less pervasive in the 2022 elections. The vote count was faster, and the results remain credible. Let me now go to the next part of the survey results. We asked them whether they're satisfied or dissatisfied with the automated polling or counting of votes to the vote counting machines. We find here that 9 out of 10 Filipinos are satisfied with the vote counting machines. Significantly higher number in Mindanao, where you have 99% expressing satisfaction with the vote counting machine. The figures do not vary as much in other geographical areas in the National Capital Region, in the balance of Luzon or the Visayas, and neither do they vary in terms of socioeconomic class from A, B, C, D, and E. Dissatisfaction is at a single digit, that's at 4%, the one that you find here, and there is no one who expressed dissatisfaction in Mindanao. If you apply the margin of error, essentially, there's not much dissatisfaction expressed by Filipinos with regard to the vote counting machines or the automated vote count. The next one was a question on whether they found it easy or difficult to use the vote counting machines. And again, 9 out of 10 Filipinos said that it was easy to use the vote counting machines. There's no variance across areas. You find here NCR 95%, the balance of Luzon at 88%, the Visayas at 96%, and Mindanao at 97%. The level of ease in terms of use of the VCM is also expressed at the same proportion by Filipinos, regardless of socio-economic class, whether it's A, B, C, D, and E. I think this being, if I'm not mistaken, the 4th time that we've been using the same system. Filipinos have gotten used to vote counting machines in terms of feeding their ballot, or even just simply completing the ballot for that matter. Yeah. Let me just go back. You have about 1% expressing a problem feeding the ballot, and this is expressed by 2% of the respondents in the balance of Luzon. Now, this is one of the questions that was we posed for a stat-based ADRI, whether people have a small or big trust on the results of the 2022 elections, whether these were accurate enough so that they can be regarded as credible. And you see here that the level of trust is still significant, significant majority trust the results of the elections, that they're accurate and thereby credible. 82% said that the results can be trusted. About 3 out of 10 said had very big trust, and majority had big trust in terms of the accuracy and subsequently the credibility of the results. The number, as the figure is lower again in the balance of Luzon, where you have 73% expressing trust as regards to accuracy and credibility of the elections, although it's higher again in Mindanao at 96%. Similar to the question that we posed earlier, which is in general on the credibility of results, while this question of stat-based was more in terms of the accuracy, you only have 4% saying that they have small or no trust, which again is a very low number, given the fact, if you apply the survey margin of error, this can go up to 7% or can go down to 1% of the Filipino adult population. The next question also that was we run for stat-based would be in terms of the benefit of the automation of elections in the Philippines. We've done this in the previous elections, and we find out in the 2022 survey that the primary benefit that people see with regard to the automation of the vote count is that the results are faster. 72%, almost the same as what we had in 2019, are saying that faster results would be the primary benefit of the automation of the vote count. Ease of voting, 15%, almost the same figure that you see across all areas. And the credibility of the results is also identified as one of the benefits of by 11% of the Filipino public. The last question that we posed for stat-based ADRI is whether they would want to see a continuation of the automated vote count in future elections or not. While there is the continuing debate as regards the uh, um, importance of continuing or looking for a different system, you still have 9 out of 10 Filipinos saying that the automated vote count should continue in future elections. You do have a slight variance here against the balance of Luzon. Filipinos in the balance of Luzon are less positive about or less inclined to have this continue, but that's still 82%. That's still a significant majority of the voters in the balance of Luzon. So even if we have a statistically significant figure in terms of a decline, in terms of agreement to this question in the balance of Luzon, that's still a significant majority of the voters in the balance of Luzon. Finally, I'd like to share some of our own data with regard to questions or statements that we asked the respondents whether they agree or disagree with this statement. The first statement is, mas kinulang ang diskusyon ng mga mahalagang issue at programa ng mga kandidato sa eleksyon ng 2022 kaysa manakarang eleksyon. If people agree with this one, that means the discussions leading up to the elections in 2022 were not as substantive as they were in 2016. If people disagree with this, that means they felt that the discussions of issues and programs was substantive running up to the 2022 elections. What we see here is somehow of a split, but you still have a majority disagreeing with the statement. A plurality disagreeing with the statement. We to say about 4 out of 10 Filipinos felt that the discussion of important issues and programs in the 2022 elections was quite substantive. The second statement, hindi pantay o hindi balanse ang pag-ulat ng pinakama-impluwensyang media sa kampanya at bilangan sa nakaraang eleksyon. So agreement with this statement would mean that people felt that media was biased and not necessarily fair with regard to the reporting of the campaign and the counting in the recently concluded elections. This agreement would mean that they feel that the media or the most influential practitioners in media were fair and balanced. And you see again that the plurality were in agreement, although you have 32% in disagreement, and you have 32% agreeing with this statement. So again, this is a split. But generally, 4 out of 10 Filipinos felt that media practitioners were fair or balanced in their reporting during the last elections. The last statement is a statement where we ask people whether kung ang nakaraang halalan ay pinaigting ang mga dibisyon o pagkakahati-hati ng ating lipunan. So this is a question on divisiveness. We wanted to find out whether people felt that the last election was polarizing or divisive. And you have an agreement here of 41%. So a plurality of Filipinos felt that the elections was quite divisive. About 1 out of 4, 24% disagreed with this one, and 36% are undecided. Those are the results of our June 2022 post-election assessment. Maraming salamat ulit sa inyong lahat, and I would definitely wish to hear the comments of the experts, and we will entertain the questions later.